Well, good afternoon. So today we will discuss about uh, how we are going to interact with the cloud. So the ways we are going to access the cloud, what type of tools you are going to use to build up your applications. Okay, and how we are accessing the cloud means what tools are used to build up the cloud applications and what tools are used to interact with the cloud. We will see in this particular chapter. So here, when you are going to interact with the cloud, it depends upon the many factors, or not the least of which the provider, least of which is the provider you use. Is which provider you are using. So what type of tools they have used and what type of tools they are actually offering you to access the tools. It all depends upon many factors there. So several tools are there and browsers are there, browsing options are there, and we can have a closer look in this particular chapter. So today first we will talk about the platforms. So what actually is a platform here? A platform is how the cloud is computing environment is delivered to you. Means how in what way the cloud computing environment is going to deliver to the client or the customer is known as a platform. So first, if we talk about the web application framework, so what is this web application framework? It is the one which is used to support the development of dynamic websites, web applications, and web services. Okay, so the web application framework is the one which is used to develop, which actually supports you to develop web applications, websites, and web services. So this framework is to reduce the overhead that comes in the common activities in the web development. Okay, so like framework actually provides you the libraries that are already written, so the developer doesn't have to reinvent the wheel every time website is developed. So what this framework actually is doing, it is actually providing an environment, a development which is going to support you to develop your website. The interesting fact of this particular web application framework is it comes with an rich set of libraries which you can use to develop your applications. Means you need not code again whatever is required. So the code is actually available in the pre-existing libraries, and just you can import them, just you can use them, and then you can start developing the web applications. So earlier in the websites, you know that they are hand coded. Most of the web applications are hand coded. Means code is entirely written by uh, the developer in HTML, and it is published with the web servers. So if the published place need to be changed, means we spoke about this in the web technology subject, where if any static web page is there, if it is need to be changed, the author has to rewrite the code, and then he need to publish it again. So as the web has grew up, we have the CGI. We have discussed the Common Gateway Interfaces also earlier, so which allows the direct applications to interface with the web servers. So direct the applications are interacting with the web servers, and from there the web pages are cooked up and they are been published. They are been uh, sent to the clients dynamically. So out of this, we have the Ajax. First, if we talk about one of the tools which is available is Ajax. Ajax is actually the asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So it is a group of web development techniques used for creating interactive web applications. So Ajax is actually a group of web development techniques which is used for creating the interactive web applications. By using Ajax, web applications can retrieve data from the servers asynchronously. So by using the Ajax, web applications can retrieve the data from the server asynchronously. And it is because it is done in an asynchronous mode in the background, the front end, the display won't actually been affected. So it is not interfered by the display and the behavior of the current page. The current page will be same like that, and in the background, the work is being done here. So what type of technologies actually the Ajax is providing? So Ajax has a wide range of web technologies that can be used to help the web applications communicate with the server. So to communicate with the servers, we have a set of tools which are available in the Ajax, which can be used to develop the applications which are actually communicating with the web server. Okay, so Ajax refers to the extensible hypertext markup language and CSS. So we are going to use XHTML, the extensible hypertext markup language, and CSS for presentation. The DOM model, the document object modeling for dynamic display of and interaction with the data. So we discussed about this in the web technologies, the dynamic object model, which is actually used for developing the content dynamically. So which is actually used to display the content dynamically and are going to interact with the data. And we have the XML, the extensible markup language, and the extensible style sheet language transformation for interchange and manipulation of data respectively. So if you want to interchange the data, if you want to manipulate the data, you can go for your XHTML and this extensible style sheet language transformation. Then we have XML HTTP request object for asynchronous communication. Then the JavaScript to bring these technologies together. All these technologies are brought together using JavaScript. Okay, so as Ajax has continues to evolve, while JavaScript claims to place in the acronym of Ajax, it is not the only client-side language that can be used for developing an Ajax application. You can use VBScript as well. So again, the client side means to develop the application. See, just it is said that the JavaScript is the one which is going to combine all these technologies, the above technologies like XHTML, your CSS, the DOM, okay, etc. To bring all these technologies together, you are going to use JavaScript. It is not the only language which can be used. In fact, you can use the even the VBScript also to bring to develop this web application. And XML is not required for data exchange. JavaScript notation or object notation is widely used as an alternative. So for data exchange, the JSON, the JavaScript object notation is widely used as alternative, and HTML and plain text can also be used. So what are the pros and cons when you're using Ajax there? So what are the advantages here? First advantage here is multiple pages on the website can contain same information. If those pages were coded by hand, the same content would have been written into each and every page. Ajax allows the web application to simply retrieve the new information and adjust how the content is presented. Now, here the same content may be repeated in multiple pages, and you need to write the code for the same pages again and again. So whereas if you're using the Ajax, so it allows the web application to simply retrieve only the new information and adjust the content accordingly. So whatever the new content is developed, the old content is actually restored, and the new content is adjusted and it is presented here. So this is very efficient, reduces the amount of bandwidth consumed and reduces the load time. So because not entire web page has been loaded, so it is reducing the reduces the amount of bandwidth and also the loading time there. So because the asynchronous request allows the client web browser to be more interactive and respond quickly to the user inputs. The user may even perceive the application to be faster because it is asynchronous. So your web browser will be more interactive for you and it will quickly respond to the user input. And connection to the servers are reduced because the scripts and style sheets not need to be downloaded once. So again, another very good advantage here is the connection to the server need not be established again and again because the scripts and the style sheets need to be downloaded only once. And next, what are the disadvantage of Ajax? When you're going for the Ajax, the disadvantage is here the dynamically created web pages do not show up in the browser's history engine because the web pages are being web pages are created dynamically. Those are not actually shown in the history of search engine. Okay, web browser's history engine there. So clicking on the back button won't recreate the last seen page because the content will be changing dynamically, drastically. So those web pages are not being restored. And if you press on the back button, then you won't get the last page. You cannot create the last page. And also, bookmarking a dynamically created web page is difficult. Then also, if the browser doesn't support Ajax or if the JavaScript is disabled, Ajax functionality cannot be used. Now, another point here is some of the browsers, uh, there are some browsers where the JavaScript is disabled. In such cases, Ajax won't work well with those browsers. And lastly, another one here is there is no standard body behind Ajax source, and there is no widely adopted best practice to test Ajax something. There is no standard body to check whether this application is good or not. Means this Ajax to actually to certify the Ajax here, to certify the application here. In such cases, it is not well adopted practice. Then we have the Python Django. Okay, Django is an open source web application framework written in Python. So Django is another Python Django is an open source web application. You know about why open source, where the course is where the source code is available for you. So what you just need to do is here is so you can use the code. You can redesign it. You can actually mm, rewrite the code. You can change the code as per your requirement. So open source means the source code is available. Okay. Originally, it was created to manage. So Django was really originally created to manage news sites for the World Company, and released publicly under a BSD license in 2005. In 2008, it was announced that Django Software Foundation will be the authority of the Django. So initially, it was used by the news agencies, news sites for the World Company, released under BSD license in 2005. But later on, it was actually came under the Django Software Foundation authority in 2008. So it was developed to ease the creation of database-driven websites and uses reusability of the components. So here it has been developed to ease the creation of database-driven websites where the database actually is being accessed and used. Where you need to suppose the reusability of the components, Django is the best option. So it utilizes the principle of dry in the sense don't repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. It also uses the administrative thread, the create, read, update, and delete interface that is dynamically generated. So what Django includes the framework, the core framework is a lightweight standalone web server for development and testing. So it has a very simple web server for development and testing, a caching framework which can be used by several cache methods. Then we have the internal dispatcher system that allows application components to communicate using predefined signals. So where the applications are being communicate using the predefined signals, and you have the internationalization system that translates Django components into multiple languages. So this is another best feature where it has an internationalization system where the components can be translated into multiple languages, and a scheme of extending capabilities of the template design. So it has a capability of template, means extending the capabilities of template design. Okay, next we have web hosting service. The web hosting service, in the sense the one which hosts your application. You need the web hosting service that will allow you to store your data and application. To allow your data to store your application, you need to host and this web hosting service, and this will is what we think when the term cloud provider is used. So the who is hosting now, the cloud provider is hosting. This is an organization that will host your data. Okay, so one of the web hosting services include the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud and Mozo. So we discussed about Elastic Cloud Compute earlier. So more about that here to discuss that this EC2, the Elastic Compute Cloud, is a web service that provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud. So it provides you the resizable compute capacity in the sense you can configure, you can use this web service interface allows to obtain and configure the capacity with a minimal friction. So using a minimal friction, you can configure yourself and you can use them. The amazing fact with it is you can easily scale up and scale down within few minutes there. So it provides you the complete control over the computing resources and lets you run your Amazon computing environment. So reduces the time to require to obtain and boot new server instances to minutes, allowing to quickly scale up the capacity both up and down as clients computing requirements change. So the interesting fact here is if you require more computing in, requirements, what you can do here is you can easily scale up and scale down as per the requirement, because the new instances of the server can be generated within few minutes and you can start using them. Okay, so another thing here is it is changes economics of computing in the sense because what you are using, that for that only you are going to pay. So pay only for the capacity that you actually use. Then it uses the Zen virtualization. Each virtual machine called as an instance is a virtual private server and can be one of the three sizes. So it uses the Zen virtualization, and each virtual machine can be of three sizes: small, large, and extra large. Instances are sized based upon the EC2 computing units, which is equivalent to the CPU capacity of the physical hardware. So you can create the small servers, you can create the large servers and extra large servers as per the requirement. One of the EC2 compute unit is equal to 1.2, 1.0 to 1.2 gigahertz 2007 Optron or 2007 Xeon processor. So unit is equal to one EC2 compute unit is actually 1.0 to 1.2 gigahertz of Optron or 0.2 or 2007 Xeon processor here. Okay, next. The services are initially offered by Sun Microsystems Open Solaris and Solaris Express Community Edition. So these are the Solaris and one of the Unix flavor. It is initially offered on the Sun Microsystems. So EC2 was later added to the Linux and Windows Server 2003 operating systems to its offering. So here, see here, you can see in the table what type of computing size, elastic color computing sizes of an offered. If it is small, so we have one computing unit of memory 1.7 GB to storage up to 160 GB and platform is 32-bit. And if it is extra large, if you're going to the extra large, if you are going to have the 8 computing units, means not just one unit, as we have discussed here, it is equal to 1.0 to 1.2 gigahertz Optron or Xeon processors. So you have 8 processors now of 1.0 to 1.2 gigahertz. So we have 15 GB internal the RAM there, and we have 1690 gigabytes of storage, and it is of 62. And as per requirement, different cloud sizes have been offered. Then we have another hosting. Another web hosting service is Mosso. Mosso is a home of hosting the cloud and cloud FS, providing the enterprise grade hosting and storage services. Mosso provides an easily managed interfaces so that the developers, designers, and IT managers can deploy reliable web applications quickly and easily, as well as the high performance cloud storage services. So what Mosso is actually offering you, it is actually offering you the reliable web applications where you can deploy the reliable web applications quickly and easily, as well as high performance cloud based storage services. Next, it is founded by 2 Rackspace employees here. The hosting cloud is built upon the cross-platform clustered computing architecture. So it is developed on the cross-platform clustered computing architecture. So there are 3 components to the Mosso: the cloud sites, the cloud files, and cloud servers. Okay, so if you cloud sites advertise it as the fastest way to put sites on the cloud, runs Windows and Linux applications around hundreds of servers. Cloud sites, where here you can say that the fastest way to put your websites on the cloud. You can use Mosso, and it runs the Windows and Linux applications across hundreds of servers. Then we have cloud files. It provides unlimited online storage of media. Examples includes the backup video files and user content, which is served out via Limelight networks and content delivery. So you have the cloud files where you have the unlimited online storage for media. You can store your video files, user contents, backups, or whatever there, and they are been served via Limelight Network's content delivery network. Then you have the cloud servers able to deploy from 1 to 100 of cloud services instantly and creates advanced high availability architectures. So what you can do here is you have able to deploy from 1 to 100 cloud servers instantly. Then you have proprietary methods. So proprietary methods in the sense methods which are being used exclusively by some company. So in this Ajax and Django in addition to widely used standards Ajax and Django, individual companies offer their own proprietary methods. So Ajax is an actually open Ajax and Django are being used by anyone. Okay, whereas there are some proprietary methods used by some organizations and companies to connect to the cloud. So Microsoft and Post.com are two examples to discuss. And the companies have designed their own infrastructure for connecting the cloud. So what type of designs or type of infrastructures have been offered by these proprietary companies we will discuss. So first is Azure. Azure is a service platform in Microsoft Cloud solution that spans from the cloud to the enterprise data center. So it can be used from the cloud to enterprise data centers also. Further, it delivers content across the PC, web, and the phone. So not just delivering the content to a single type of device, the content is delivered either to PC or web or phone. Okay, the web platform combines cloud-based developer capabilities with strong storage, computational networking infrastructure services, all hosted on the servers operating with Microsoft Global Data Center Network. So see here, it is completely proprietary in the sense that everything is developed by Microsoft. So it combines cloud-based developer capabilities with storage. So it is offering us the storage as well as the computational and networking infrastructure services also. So these are all been hosted by the operating servers operating with Microsoft Global Data Center Networks, and they provide developers with the ability to deploy their applications in the cloud or on premises and enable experiences across broad range of businesses and consumers. So you can easily deploy it on the cloud or on services, on premises servers, and enable experiences across the broad range of businesses and consumer scenarios. The Azure actually provides the developers with the ability to create the applications while taking advantage of existing skills, tools, and technologies. So we can develop the applications by all the existing skills, tools, and technologies available to you, such as the .NET frameworks and Visual Studio. And also, you can choose from the broad range of commercial and open source development tools and technologies. So not just .NET framework or Visual Studio, you can choose open source development technology tools and technologies and access the Azure platform using variety of computational internet standards. Okay. Computational internet standards, variety of common internet standards including HTTP, REST, the representational state transfer, and Atom publishing protocol, AtomPub. So other type of technologies can also be used by the Azure platform to develop an application. So what are the key components of Azure platform? They include Windows Azure for service hosting and management, low-level scalable storage and computation and network. So you have the Windows Azure for the hosting and managing your services. It is low-level scalable storage, okay, and computation and networking. Microsoft SQL services for a wide range of database. For database services and reporting, MS SQL services are used. And .NET services, which are the service-based implementations of familiar .NET framework concepts such as workflow and access control. So you can provide the workflow as well as access control using this .NET services. Next, you have the live services for consistent way the users to store, share, and synchronize documents, photos, files, and information across PCs, phones, PC applications, and websites. So using this Windows Live Services, what you can do here is you have a consistent way of storing, sharing, and synchronizing the documents, photographs, or whatever the files, what are the information which you are producing across your PCs, phones, and applications. And we have the SharePoint services and Dynamics CRM, which we discussed in earlier for business content collaboration, rapid solution development in the cloud. So they can be used the SharePoint services also for the collaborating for collaboration of the work and also creating the dynamic CRM and the customer relationship management. Okay. So as a key part of the cloud offering, Microsoft has built the data centers to deliver online services. Microsoft has opened data centers in means it's at different phases. They have actually opened this. At different places they have opened their data centers in Greenwich, Washington, San Antonio, okay, Antonio, Texas, with additional centers scheduled to be opened in Chicago and Dublin and Ireland. And now they have opened their data centers in many places. Next, finally, if you talk about the Post.com, another proprietary firm or company which is actually offering their own tools for developing the web applications, is the Post.com, the platform as a service from Salesforce.com. So it is used to create and deploy the business applications by replacing the complexity of the software platforms with complete by replacing the complexity of software platforms with a complete scalable service. Post.com provides developers a fast path to turn ideas into business impact. So all the complexities have been removed here. It provides you a platform with a complete scalable service. Okay, next in this Post.com features we discussed. So the Post.com platform as a service provides the building blocks necessary to build any kind of business applications and automatically deploy them as a service to small teams or entire enterprise. So using this Post.com platform as a service, you can develop any type of applications on the cloud, and they can be delivered either to a smaller company or to a big enterprise level also. So it gives the customers the ability to run multiple applications within the same Salesforce.com instance. So within the same instance, what you can do here is at a time you can run multiple applications, allowing the company Salesforce.com applications to share common security model, data model, and user. So if suppose everything is placed on the same instance at the same place, you have the common security model, the data model, and the user interface used for all the applications. So because this is multi-tenant Post.com platform encompasses complete set of creation of business applications such as on-demand operating system, the ability to create any database on demand, workflow engine for managing collaboration between the users, the Apex code for programming language for building complex logic, the complex logic, the Post.com web app services API, programmatic access, mashups, and integration with other applications and data, and Visualforce for framework to build any user interface. So these are all the tools which have been offered by this Post.com. So they have the ability to create any database on demand, workflow engine for managing, collaborating between the users, the Apex code, programming language for building complex logic, so Apex code programming language. So it is a programming for building into complex logic, and they have the web services API for programmatic access. Then we have the in mashups and integration with other applications. So Visualforce, this actually we have discussed in the earlier class also in the last chapter. We had discussed about the Visualforce. It is actually the part of the Post.com platform. It gives the customers the ability to design application user interfaces for any experience on any screen. So what you can do here is you can design your user interfaces for any experience, on any screen. So using logic and workflow intelligence provided with the Apex code, Visualforce offers the flexibility to meet the requirements of applications that features many different types of users on variety of devices. So it has the ability to meet up the requirements of the applications by combining the logic and workflow intelligence provided with the Apex code. Okay, and then it uses the HTML, Ajax, and Flex for business applications. Visual Force enables the creation and delivery of any user experience, offering control over any application design and behavior. So whatever the type of application, whether it is meant for your PC or laptop or your mobile, you can develop any kind of applications and you can use them. Okay, so it provides a page-based model built on a standard HTML and web representation technologies, and is complemented with both component library for implementing common user interface elements and controller model for creating new interaction between those elements. So it is actually offering you the page-based stand model, so which is actually built on the HTML and web presentation technologies, and it is complemented with by the both component libraries. So where library of functions are available, you can use them for implementing the common user interface elements. So the elements which are commonly used have been found in that library, and you can use them. And it has a controller model for creating new interaction between those elements. So next it has means the three components which I had discussed earlier about the Visual Force is the pages, components, and logic controllers. So pages actually enables to design and design definition of an application user interface. So you can have the design definition of any application user interface. This enables developers to create new pages using standard. Sorry. So enables you to developers to create new pages using standard web technologies using HTML, Ajax, and Flex. Okay. Next, it has a components provides the ability to create new applications that automatically match the look and feel of Salesforce.com and easily customize and extend the Salesforce user interface to specific customer and user requirements. So you can have the ability to develop the new applications which actually adopt the same look and feel of your Salesforce.com applications. Means already some applications are available on Salesforce.com. So if you are creating a new application, they adopt the same look and feel of the existing application, and you can customize the existing applications. You can extend the user interface to specific customer and user requirements. Okay, and you can create the user experience by assembling existing user interface elements. So you can have uh, the option of assembling the existing user interface elements. And finally, we have the logical controllers enables the customers to build any kind of user interface behavior. Means logical behavior can be developed here. You can use the Visual Force to quickly create new look and feel, and that leverages existing applications for functionality. So it boosts up the new existing application functionality to boost up. You can quickly create a new look and feel standards out. The standard controller gives the customer the ability to inherit and reuse any standard Salesforce.com user interface behavior like new, edit, and save. So you have the standard controller which gives the customer the ability to inherit. So you can, if you want, you can inherit the existing ones and reuse any standard Salesforce.com user interface behavior. So that's about the various application frameworks we have. Some are proprietary and some are actually available for you or by default. So we discussed here the web application framework and web hosting services, the proprietary methods. So in the next class, we will be discussing about the web applications itself. So what type of web applications we have, what are the web APIs, how they are going to work. We will be discussing in the next class. So any doubts?
Okay. No, sir.
Okay, fine then. Thank you. So we'll meet you tomorrow.
Okay.